isn't over yet. We have a lot of Christmas to talk about. So I'm also going to talk about a broken arm with me, looking back at some of my top videos, turning this off. There we go. Sorry about that. Let me just start over. Christmas isn't over yet, but between a broken arm and Epiphany and looking back at my top 5 videos of 2025 tonight's live stream is a real conversation. I'm going to share just a brief update on what happened with my broken arm. I'm going to talk about Epiphany and why it marks just a meaningful moment at the close of the 12 days of Christmas, because yes, there is a 12 days of Christmas. And then we'll look back at the top videos over the past year and then just talk about, whatever you want to talk about. And I'm going to share probably a few seconds of each video. So hi, I'm Gayle. Welcome to my Be Bodacious channel, where I share real life travel and service dog life, showing how I live fully despite a disability without letting life get in the way of living. So hi and welcome everyone. I've had some tech problems coming in, but we've gotten those resolved. And I had my husband come and help me with them, so I'm not sure if that really helped or hurt. But anyway, you all will be glad to know that I'm saving up for a new computer, which will hopefully alleviate some of these crazy tech problems. Anyway, let me see who's here. Busy Lady has come in. So hey, Busy Lady, and welcome to the stream. Grandma Lynn has arrived. Hi, Grandma Lynn. How are you doing? I know Christmas is a busy season for you, and I loved you reading the Psalms the other day and talking about that, because I think that was a real encouragement, and I like the way that when you explain it so that everybody can understand, because a lot of people, when they hear the scripture, they don't understand, what we're talking about. So if you all have not checked out Grandma Lynn's channel, of course, check it out. Check out Busy Lady, especially if you like chickens, because she's got them. And Grandma Lynn is saying Merry Christmas to Busy Lady, and I want to say Merry Christmas to you also, Grandma Lynn, and to everybody who's watching this either live or on the replay. So yay for replays. But what I want everybody to know, and I talked about this a little bit on the live stream that I just did a couple of nights ago, I want everybody to understand that Christmas isn't over yet. Christmas goes from Christmas Day on December 25th through Epiphany, which is on January 6th. And so what those days commemorate, or traditionally have commemorated, is the journey of the wise men who were looking at the sky and looking for the signs that the Messiah was appearing. And it marks their journey from when they started from home to the time they appeared before the Christ child. And that appearance before Jesus is Epiphany. So that 12 days of Christmas is what marks that journey. And there really is, or at least was, a 12 days of Christmas. And in the U.S., we kind of got away from celebrating that. But if you look at the traditions of old, that's how it was. And a lot of people didn't put up the Christmas tree, until Christmas Eve. And so now we're putting it up at Thanksgiving or before, and we have this season of Christmas that is contrary to the Christian calendar. And we have it all about commercialism. And it's really the commercialism that drives from right before Thanksgiving through Christmas Day. Have you ever wondered why we have often basically the same meal on Thanksgiving that we do at Christmas? It's commercialism driving that, people. And so the Christian calendar runs counter to the commercialism, and it seeks to reframe the conversation and reclaim it so that we understand more about the Christ child in the manger and the journey. So it's really, and this is not going to be all about the Christian calendar. I'm probably going to do a live stream on that at some point on my other channel. But I just wanted you to hear that it's not over. And the really important thing, the reason that I want you all to understand is because a lot of us have problems with that Christmas letdown or the post-holiday blues, or we get depressed. And so if we look at it as a 12 days of Christmas, then it's not this big blur of motion coming to a sudden stop. There's something to look forward to after Christmas Day, and that's what the 12 days of Christmas does for us. Oh, hey, Valerie Reese is in the house. Hi, Valerie. Welcome. Welcome. So, a lot of us struggle with depression after the holidays. That's just the way it is. But, for me, anyway, knowing that there's a 12 days of Christmas, it helps me personally deal with that sudden stop because, let's talk about what it is. Right after Christmas, a lot of us just look around and we have all of this motion and all of this basically hullabaloo. And then it comes to that screeching stop. And a lot of us wonder, what's next? And, just moving through everything. That's how come we have this kind of holiday letdown. We're not usually let down as much about what's under the tree as we are like the aftermath. And so something I really like is that a lot of countries, the kids celebrate with a gift at Epiphany. And I have borrowed that idea, and I am doing that for my grandbaby from her very first Christmas through Epiphany. And I'm going to do it probably as long as I live, because those little Epiphany gifts, I am talking about little. I'm not talking about having a second Santa Claus with this huge Christmas morning opening of presents. No. I'm talking about the small Epiphany gifts. In the past times, it's often been an orange, an apple, and some nuts, which is really similar to the Appalachian Christmas bags that we just did. And I got a video on that. And so it kind of makes me wonder if maybe they stole that idea. But anyway, the whole idea is for it to be something small. So like with my granddaughter, last year, I sent her just a little book. This year, I sent her a little cheap toy, just a couple of dollars. And no, that was last year. Year before last was the book. And then this year, it's a coloring book and crayons. So it's not a big gift. We're talking about just the idea that, okay, Christmas is over, but Epiphany's coming, and I know I'm going to get something else for Epiphany. So what else might that be? And then that starts, moving into more of the Christian calendar. So anyway, didn't mean to ramble about that forever, but I just hope that for those of us who struggle with the holidays and struggle with the terms of what's next, I hope that you do take some comfort from the fact that Epiphany is January 6th, so it's not over yet. And a lot of people, it used to be the tradition that people would take their Christmas trees down either on January 6th or the day after. And now a lot of people feel pressure. It's got to come down either the day after Christmas or on New Year's Day. And so if you're feeling that pressure, just know you don't have to. Oh, thank you. Did they like it? I have to ask. I hope they liked it. I have donated all the proceeds for the sale of those books to the Johnson County Long-Term Recovery Group. And it's about service dog Pipsy helps during a hurricane. It's our real life adventure. Valerie's even mentioned in the book. And So is Stellar Piper by her actual name, Allie, which I can hardly remember to use. They loved it. Yay! Well, I'm glad they did. I appreciate you telling me that. That makes me feel good. And I was really excited too. I found out that a mental health organization that works here with some of the folks who are still coming to terms with a hurricane, they bought some of my books to give to the kids that were on the Christmas list for the long-term recovery group for the toys and things they took up. So I'm really glad about that because there's one scene in the book that I designed with kids who are struggling in mind. And in the book, and I don't have a copy I can put my hands on just like right here. It's in the other room. But anyway, in the book, service dog Pipsy comes and there's a long line of people and he's helping, and his grandpa looks up and says, "Hey, isn't that your friend Daisy?" And she's in the long line of characters who are waiting to get help. So Pipsy goes to Daisy. She's sad because all of her pretty flowers have washed away. You know, daisy flowers. Y'all see what I got there. And so he encourages Daisy to talk to an adult and tells Daisy that when he's sad, he talks to Nona, which is his adult, and it makes him feel better. And, you know, Daisy says, "Thank you. You know, I feel better basically just knowing I can go talk to her." And I put that in there to try to open up the door so kids would know it's okay. So I'm A, glad you liked it, and B, I'm also excited that the mental health group is purchasing it. So now going back to Epiphany, Valerie Reese is saying she leaves her trees up until almost the end of January. And that's helpful. That's helpful. Yeah. We don't have to conform and take the trees down any particular day. And if we want to keep them up all year, some places do that. And it becomes a Valentine's Day tree or an Easter tree or a 4th of July tree, you know, and that's okay. I just want, you know, Be Bodacious on this channel is about not letting life get in the way of living. And part of that is taking down your tree whenever you want to and not feeling like you have to conform. So I'm really glad, Valerie, that you leave your trees up until almost the end of January. Go for it. I think that's so important. So, all right. Something I need to tell you about. I posted about this over in the Facebook group. So if y'all are on Facebook, you've already seen my arm. And I'm trying to make light of this and kind of joke about it a little bit, and how 2025, I'm just cracking up over it because I started 2025 with a falling on the ice, breaking the bone in my back, breaking my tailbone. Kind of got over that. I'm actually still seeing the neurosurgeon over that, believe it or not. We keep going back and forth, and I see them in January. But anyway, so I did that. Then in June, I fell and hurt the same arm all over again. Then I fell back in October. Yeah, I fell in October, and I sprained both hands in that fall. I didn't break anything. Did not break anything. And then not earlier this month, or anyway, I guess, let me stop and think, okay, what was going on when? Yeah, I guess about a week and a half ago when we just had this last snow, I fell in the snow. And that's when I broke it. I'm pretty sure, because it was hurting, and I figured, oh, well, I just sprained it last time. I probably just re-aggravated the sprain. And then we went to the beach a few days ago, and I went to pick something up at the beach and just kind of twisted my hand as though I was making like the scooping motion. Oh my God. It felt like my hand was going to fall off my arm. It hurt so much. And then I'm like, okay, better go get this checked out. And so I checked it out, and they're like, well, the reason it's swollen and the reason it's hurting is because you fractured it. So, all right. But I will say that day, Sir Fluffy was frustrating and amazing. It was his first snow here, and he's a mountain dog. He's bred for snow, and he was loving it. So I had this 100-foot long lead that I let him did have it, and I let Pipsy use it all the time when I was outside with him. Our yard isn't fenced, so, 100 lead gives him 200 feet of space to run, and we play and do fetch and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, Sir Fluffy hasn't been on the lead yet because he's been with me, and often we take him to the church playground and let them play. So this time it's got the snow and stuff. So I said, I'll just go ahead and put him on the lead, let him have, his 20 minutes or so of playtime. So he gets up this full speed, and this lead, okay, it's nylon. It's only about half an inch wide. I don't want something heavy. This is not like a steel cable, and it's not like anything that they're out on the yard all the time or anything like that. So I felt pretty confident with it. Well, he goes and he's running, and my 100-pound dog gets up a full head of steam because he's running, and he pops that lead and it breaks, and off he's going. So he goes into the woods behind my house, and there's a trail. He goes beyond the trail, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. And I holler at the dog, and he slows down, and he kind of meanders off to the side. And I'm like, Sir Fluffy, COME. And he's meandering, but he looks at me. So it's like, I knew he heard me, and he didn't want to come. There used to be Instagram videos of the dogs, and the saying with that was something along the lines of, I got here as soon as I wanted to. So I thought we were having one of those moments with my service dog. So I start toward him. I take about 4 or 5 steps, and boom, I fall right on, straight on the ground, just like boom. I didn't hit, I caught myself before my face hit the ground, which was really good. But when that happened, I kind of twisted my arm, and I thought at that time, oh boy, because I felt this like icy hot streak of lightning going at my arm. So I hollered for him. I'm like, and just barrel it out. And so he came. I mean, he jumps over the trees that have fallen. He jumps over the logs. He comes barreling to me like a demon on fire. And then he comes and he does everything that he's supposed to do. But that was the end of the cable, and that's when my arm got broken. So, yeah. So it's really interesting, though, being in the strap, because I can't fully close my fingers and I can't fully use them. And the problem with that is I have to be able to put my leg brace on, and part of that fastens with Velcro. So I have to be able to hold the Velcro and pull the straps and maneuver that. So I've been really surprised at how difficult that has been in this brace versus the brace that I was in back in June when I broke my arm last time. So it's really made life quite interesting. So I'm having to learn how to manipulate the leg brace, but really my husband's been having to do it a lot. And then, you just, socks are another thing. You just reach down, pull your socks off, but my hand won't reach. And so, I mean, my hand will reach, it just won't close to pull the sock off. So one of the things that Sir Fluffy has been trained to do is to take my socks off for me. And that's been helpful. So, so the day I fell, he came back to me. He did everything he was supposed to do. And I don't think I would have fallen had it not been for the snow and ice. And then when he came back, he did what he was supposed to do. And he's been helping me with my socks and stuff, and kind of Velcroed himself to me a little bit, following Pipsy's lead, because Pipsy is also following me around. So, yeah. So they're helpful. They're helpful. So, yeah. All right. Valerie's got the idea of bubble wrap for me and her mom. I am sorry that she fell again, but she is okay. That's really good to know. Because you never know with falls. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And what I figured out is if I fall, if I can get up immediately before the pain starts, if there's going to be pain, then I'm good. I'm good. So, yeah. So anyway, that part about my service dog, that's just kind of how we're navigating life right now, going through these everyday moments of just dealing with life as it comes. And as far as being able to pick things up, I'm having problems with that because of my brace. So Sir Fluffy's able to pick things up for me. Tipsy's able to pick things up for me. Now, sometimes Sir Fluffy forgets to bring them back, which is really interesting to watch the two service dogs, because Pipsy doesn't know he's retired. So when Sir Fluffy messes up and he either gets my sock or he starts off with it or he picks something up and doesn't bring it back to me, Pipsy yelps at him. He'll bark. He'll just give like one kind of a half bark kind of thing. And Sir Fluffy knows he's messed up, and he changes his behavior a little quicker for Pipsy than he does with me, which is really interesting to watch. But, they're both super helpful. She'll be 93 in March. God bless her. I just hope I see 93. That would be cool. If my mind is intact, which is always an everyday question. That is so cool. Very cool. So anyway, that's kind of the update on my broken arm and kind of my life with my service dog right now. It's kind of crazy. But anyway, I just wanted y'all to know that if you're kind of easing out of the holidays or dealing with something unexpected, it's okay. Or if you're just looking for a calm place, that's okay. So, yeah. So, all right. So who wants to see what my top 5 videos were for 2025? Anybody want to see that? I think so. So I went through and looked, and I was really surprised. One of these actually was on my top 5 list for 2024. And here it is again. So I was really surprised. I'm sure some of you other YouTubers also have that going on, where you have a really popular video and it pops the next year. I don't know why it surprised me. It just does. So anyway, let me get over here and share the screen. Okay, let me pull it up. Number 1, I'm just going to start. We're just going to work our way one down instead of bottom up. But my number one was my mini washing machine update video. I got the mini washing machine for the van. So somebody asked me to do a follow-up video on it, and I did. Obviously now this is before I wrecked the van. So I did the video, and that came up. And the music is Kevin MacLeod here, and I love his music. And it's copyright free, royalty free, all that jazz. So that's just me showing how the miniature washing machine is working. I think a lot of people like that because they can put it not just in their van, but in a dorm or an apartment or someplace where you need to be able to wash things sometimes, but you don't have a lot of space. The mini washing machine does a pretty good job for that. So, yeah. So, let me pull that up. And next up also surprised me, and that is how a service dog acts at a parade. At a parade. So, this was a little fun video I did on July the 4th. He was so cute. Pull that up.
He likes being out here.
And basically, he just loved it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother. Thank you. Thanks. He likes being out here.
Yeah. So, we have all the cars going by. The parade route for the 4th of July goes right in front of my house, okay? So we had all of the fire trucks from several different departments going by right in front of our house, as you heard. The high school marching band goes right in front of our house. And all these, we have speakers, we have horns honking, we have fire truck horns. Sometimes they'll turn on their sirens for a split second. All of this noise is going on, and Pipsy is just laying there. Nothing bothers that dog. Nothing. And so that's what we saw at the parade. So if anybody wondered how a service dog acts at a parade, there you go. There you go. He loves it. And it's funny, too, partially because of social media, people have seen Pipsy on my channel. And so they see us sometimes in real life because some of the folks who follow me are local. And they hollered at him, "Is that Pipsy?" As they're in the parade. Or some of them that knew it was Pipsy were like hollering, "Hi, Pipsy! Hi, service dog Pipsy!" And he just laid there. He just ate it up, and he just kind of laid there. So anyway, that was a lot of fun. But it really surprised me that it came up on there at number 2. What did you all think? Do you think that a video of how a service dog acts at a parade would be up high on a list of top videos? It surprised me anyway. So our next one also surprised me. Actually, they all kind of surprised me. But it's on cooking on the mini griddle. So I did a live stream a while back on 7 easy mini griddle recipes and how to cook meals on a mini griddle. That's that little 5-inch griddle that I have. And a lot of people, again, that's good for dorms. I'm taking it traveling with me. So small spaces, tiny homes, small kitchen appliances, that's where the griddle comes in handy. And you can cook just like 1 or 2 small things. So a lot of people get stuck in the trap of only doing like a burger, an egg, and grilled cheese. But there's so much more that you can do on it. And I think that's where this video kind of filled that void. And Valerie is saying it's really funny what videos get the most views. I'm surprised with what videos I have that get the most views. Yeah, do a video on that or do a live stream, because I think that would be really neat to see the different channels, what the top videos are. So, Spider-Man hero, the hero is in the house with countdown starting 362 days until Christmas. Yay. Okay, yeah, LOL. So yeah, Valerie, do one of those. I would love to see it. So let me share it, and you all can see a short clip. And in this, I show how to cook a biscuit, which, you know, you'll be surprised at the number of people who contacted me later by email, because y'all know my email's in the description box, and they were shocked that you could cook a biscuit in the mini griddle. And so the biscuit obviously is flat, but it's just the matter of you can. So cook the biscuit, cook a piece of sausage, and boom, you've got a pretty nice breakfast. And you can then cook the egg in there. You just have to do it obviously in stages. But yeah, there's so much you can cook on it. But anyway, I'll do, because this one was popular, I'll do another video at some point, or another live stream at some point, talking about some of the other things you can cook on a mini griddle. And hopefully it will spark some, you know, creativity. That'll be awesome. Valerie's going to bring it up in her Tuesday night's live stream. That will be awesome. And this Tuesday, I usually have a meeting on Tuesdays. Mondays all day, and then Tuesdays are usually like my meeting day. So I think actually this Tuesday I am free, so I can see that live finally. All right. So, okay, that takes the top 3. And then number 4 is again about Pipsy, and it's my service dog alerting in public. And he was letting me know that my blood sugar was dropping. He's getting famous for that.
I'll bend down, say, check. If he gives me his paw, then I know. Okay, good boy. Good boy. I need to go get some juice.
So,
am I feeling okay? You want to check?
He has absolutely, his nose, his sense of alerting is freaking amazing. Like, so many service dogs don't have his capability. And it just, he amazes me. This dog has alerted at a meeting. I was sitting at one table. Another lady was sitting at the other table next to us. He starts whining and starts pulling towards the other table. He had not done that. That was the first time that he ever, alerted in public to another person. So I went over. Sure enough, she was a diabetic. I offered to get her some juice, and she got to feeling better within a minute or two. And it was really interesting, the conversation that I had with her afterwards, because she said that she thought medical alert service dogs, especially diabetic alert service dogs, were a hoax. And then this happened. And, it's, whoops, knocked my microphone blinding. So that was a really good moment, because not just was he alerting to her, but it opened the door for somebody else to see what service dogs can do. And now, he's done it at church. He did it in the hospital when I was in the lobby, and he was whining and trying to pull toward this lady. And, I went up to her, and she looked at me kind of weird, but I asked her, I said, sorry, not meaning to get too much in your business, but are you by chance a diabetic? And if you are you okay? And she looked at me, she was like really surprised. And she's like, yes, I'm a diabetic, but no, I'm fine. And I was like, are you sure? Because like I have this dog and there has to be a reason why he knew she was diabetic. But boom. So yeah. Okay, Valerie is saying 7 p.m. Eastern time for the live stream. So catch her, you all catch her at that time for the live. Valerie, if you want to drop your link in there, actually, let me see here. I might be able to do it. Let me see if I can pull it up. Go to channel. There we go. I can toss it in. Let me see if I can hunt and peck this. Because I'm not typing the best right now. There we go. Okay, there we go. That's Valerie's YouTube channel. So check out hers on her live Tuesday night. Yeah. So there's her link. Trying to make it easy for you all. And at some point, we're going to talk on this channel. I'm going to wait till after the first of the year and we'll talk about what's coming up for the channel because there's going to be some changes. All right. And now let's see. Spider-Man is saying something here and I missed it. Just have 5 mid something. Something about peeing in public. No, my service dog does not pee in public unless it's at a special, like one of the dog lot places that they have set up. Then that's where he pees. Because the neat thing about service dogs is that they are trained to go on command. So you can tell him now and he'll, take care of business when you tell him to. So that's a really wonderful, wonderful thing about service dogs. All right. And one of the next ones is another one because we saw the one about his alerting, but the next one up is also about service dogs. And it's a video I did on how to tell if someone has a real service dog. And we get this all the time, or we'll go out and somebody will say, well, I've been wanting to turn my service dog, my dog into a service dog, but I'm afraid to because so many people, accuse you of having a fake service dog, or so many fakes cause so many problems. And I'm like, don't put your health aside just because of somebody else. So we get asked this all the time. How do you tell? And even I just went to the beach and even there, the person checking me in is like, I can't ask anybody anything about their service dogs. I'm like,
I get asked this all the time. When it is not obvious that the animal is a service dog, the ADA law allows you to ask two questions.
2 questions.
1, is the dog a service animal required because of a disability? And 2, what work or task has the dog been trained to do? You're not.
So, the person at the hotel was like, do you have ID? And I'm like, yeah, I have ID, but I don't legally have to show you ID because you can't legally ask for it. And he was like, yes, I can. And I'm like, no. And then he was like, well, yeah, I guess I'm not supposed to, or something like that. Anyway, we had a good stay otherwise. He just kind of didn't understand, but I was able to talk to him and talk through it. So just so you all know, I've said this on the channel before, but just so we're all clear on it, You can ask 2 questions. 1, is that a service dog required because of a disability? And 2, what work or task has he been trained to do? And how they answer that is the answer on whether or not you have a service dog. I was at a store one day. This guy had a service dog in his shopping cart. So many problems with that. Anyway, in his shopping cart, and that dog yelled and snapped or growled and snapped at my service dog. So I told my husband, I'm like, take Pipsy a couple of aisles over and get the bail money ready in case you need it. And I went over and I said to him, I'm like, hey, is this a service dog required because of a disability? And what has he been trained to do? And he said that it was a rescue dog. And I said, but I asked you if it was a service dog. And he's like, yeah, he's a rescue dog, and he helps me all the time. And I'm like, great. What work or task has he been trained to do? Because he's just snapped at my dog. And he's like, well, we didn't have to do any training. He's a rescue dog. And I'm like, really? So now when I run into people like that, I don't even fool with them. I will go and get security and I will let them deal with it, because I don't want to put my service dog at risk because of someone's fake service dog. And the other thing is, with me, it's kind of obvious what he does. And that is, he balances and he braces me. And technically, you're not supposed to even ask if it's obvious what a service dog does. Because when it's obvious, it's obvious. But some people, I guess, let me pull this up here again. There's one little section where I'm sure, let me see here. I'm going to turn the sound off just a second. All right. So here I am in the store and I'm walking, and you can tell I have a freaking leg brace on. He's in a mobility harness. I'm holding on to him. He's balancing. He's bracing. Like, what in this picture doesn't tell you, hey, this is a service dog? but people still ask. And I've been accused of having a fake service dog and him not being real. So it's one of those things. And I was accused that for a ridiculous reason. But a woman was like, she came outside and she was like getting into a car just up from me. And I shouldn't laugh. She was so funny though, but I shouldn't laugh. But anyway, she walks by my car and she got the van at that point, and she says, I saw you in that store with that fake service dog. And I'm like, why do you think he's a fake service dog? Get this. I took his harness off before putting him in the van. So therefore, since I can take his harness off, in her mind, he must have been a fake service dog. When in reality, I just don't want his handle catching on the seats and things in the car as he moves around and shifts position. I mean, I wouldn't want to wear something like that in the car, and I don't want him having to. But anyway, because I took it off, she claimed that tried claiming that I was a faker. I'm like, not quite. But what can you say? People are people. So anyway, that's my top 5 videos. My next ones, I'll just tell you which the next ones were, and I'm not gonna try showing you. I'll just read you the list for my analytics. So the next one up, whoa, wait a minute. 2025. Let me switch this from 28 days to 2025. There we go. So number 1, mini washing machine, how a service dog acts at a parade, mini griddle recipes, service dog alerts in public, how to tell if someone has a real service dog. There we go. And the next one up, I did a video on how to use a solar power battery bank. And I did that because of the hurricane last year, because what we saw was we were giving out the battery banks that one of our members generously provided, and people weren't sure how to use them, and they kept trying to charge them on shore power or in their cars or so forth, because I just couldn't figure out how to use it. So my 6th most popular video of 2025 was how to use the solar battery bank. And we put that out also on Facebook, I believe. It may have been Instagram, but it also was on Facebook for a while. And I got so many comments about how people had looked for a video like that and they just hadn't seen it, and they were just really glad to find it. So it made me feel real good that one of you all donated the solar battery banks to the hurricane survivors, and I was able to help fill that need a little bit more with how to use one. So it's just kind of to me, it's one of those amazing things about how YouTube kind of brings things all together. But then I have a different viewpoint of YouTube than some people do. Some people are afraid of like being on it, or they think social media is like this really terrible thing. Don't you all run into that sometimes? And, I think that this video and how it came to be just really shows that social media can be a really beautiful thing. And so there we go. Anyway, and then after how to use the solar battery bank, the next one was my breast biopsy aftercare and how you should care for your breast after biopsy. And of course, this was from my point of view as a patient. And that happened to me in 2022, but it's still getting watch hours and views because it's still needed. And I'm a little frustrated that it's still needed because, here we are just over 3 years later, and it's like the doctors need to get it together to tell you more. But anyway, that's a rant for another live stream. I'm not going to rant about that tonight. Tonight's about celebrating what's on there. And then the next one up was my service dog getting the mail for me. He loves to go get the mail. I'm talking about service dog Pipsy, and he loves to do that. So I made a little video of him getting it, and that came in at number 8 on my top 10 videos. Number 9, I just posted a few days ago, and it's already on the top 9, and that is a service dog digs his first beach trip. So we just went to the beach Christmas night, and he got to go, and I let him dig, and I was like, go, go, go. And he just got to dig for all he was worth, and sand is flying, and he's having a great time. And yeah, so I did like this little, I think, 10-second video clip on it, and he had a blast. So that came in at number 9. Still shocks me. So thank you all for that. And then number 10 was when my van was overheating back in 2024. And it was about how to add coolant to a van. And that came in at number 10. So anyway, you all, that's my top 10 there. And it's been an amazing year, and it's been an eventful year. So much going on. so much happened this year. Oh my gosh. You know, I would love to say that something happened every month, but so many things piled on each other. I wonder if I should do a video of like what I think my top 10 moments were this past year, good and bad. Because I would have to say that, having the broken back and the broken tailbone starting in January, and then I wrecked the van, and then, we did some things in March, and I thought I was getting the service dog in June, and that didn't happen because they pulled him on graduation day. My grandbaby had another birthday for big number 3, and then the service dog, and then, August, and then October, I'm back for the actual service dog. It's just, and then, getting the other car. I wonder, well, I'm going to have to think about that. Would that be a boring video? What do you all think? I would love to know what you all think. Just on what I think about my top 10. Oh, and somebody gave me a cup for Christmas. What is naughty? Have to figure that one out. So anyhow, I hope you all have a great rest of the Christmas season, and that you go through knowing Epiphany is coming, and you just have a really good year for the next year. Valerie says that would be good. Yeah, I think I'll put some thought into that and see what video clips I can do and come up with it and do that. And I'm also going to do one on what's coming up next year for the channel. I know in December, I have vlogged or gone live every single day. So I don't really know if I'm going to be doing that or not. But I am looking back. I am looking at going back to doing Service Dog Fridays and doing just a little live stream or video about service dog life on Fridays, and just some other little nothing big, just kind of like little exciting tweaks here and there. All right, well, thank you all so much for coming out to the live stream tonight, and thank you for supporting my channel. And I forgot to remind everybody to please give me a like on the live stream, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because we would love to have you as part of our Bodacious family. So join us, like, subscribe, share. Y'all know the drill. But thank you all so much. Have a Merry Christmas season and a fabulous New Year if I don't see you before then. But thanks. You all